Bristol Bay is home of the world's largest sockeye salmon fishery. And most of the world's wild sockeye salmon are coming from there. It produces over 50% of Alaska's wild sockeye. So in New York and Santa Fe, New Mexico, and all of these places, when you see wild sockeye salmon, that's where it's from, is Bristol Bay.
The wild salmon runs of Bristol Bay, Alaska, are the ecological and economic driver of this rural part of the state, about 300 miles from Anchorage. It is an essentially untouched place where the world's largest salmon runs thrive. Commercial and sport fishing is a $300 million a year business, and for centuries, Native Alaskans have depended on salmon for their livelihood.
Yeah, this is one salmon here.
But now, there are new economic interests in this region as well.
We're looking at developing a copper, gold, molybdenum mine in southwestern Alaska. We're right now standing on the prospect. It's a very large prospect, certainly potentially one of the largest copper deposits in the world.
This is a test drill site of the Pebble Partnership, which is located on state land open for development and is about 100 miles upriver from Bristol Bay. If developed, the Pebble Mine could be the largest open-pit mine in North America, dwarfing the Kennecott, Utah copper mine, which is 2.5 miles across, 3/4 of a mile deep, and visible from space.
I don't think they should even put that mine up there. They shouldn't even think about putting a mine up there.
Rarely are Alaskans at odds over exploiting their natural resources, but the proposed Pebble Mine has generated considerable controversy.
And this is our livelihood. I like to give my permit and boat and everything to this young man and let him take over for me, you know. But if they have one spill up there, what's going to happen? The whole system's gone. Because all the fry's got to come out that same hole.
Bye-bye, fishy.
Yeah.
Dillingham, the hub of commercial fishing in Bristol Bay, is decidedly anti-Pebble, but the debate has spread to all corners of the state.
Mining is all we have. Without something happening out in our region to stimulate the economy, we're just going to wither away.
While a permit for the mine will ultimately be decided by state regulatory agencies, on August 26th, all Alaskans will get a chance to weigh in.
What's at risk is our very economic future.
That's when they vote on ballot initiative Measure 4, a petition intended to increase protections for streams where salmon live. Millions of dollars are being spent on both sides to lobby Alaskan voters.
Which one are you going to choose?
It is unclear what impact Measure 4 would have if it passes. The CEO of the Pebble Partnership says it is possible ballot Measure 4 will not stop the project.
Certainly, when it passes, the government will have to write a regulatory scheme. That regulatory scheme could be the subject of litigation, so we may be a long time before finding out the impact.
But many Alaskans say Pebble is unique because of its proposed location. An access road to the open mine would cut across salmon spawning streams. The concentrations of copper and gold mined here are so small that it will leave 99% of the rock as waste. That waste rock and the milled waste called tailings can produce toxic runoff if not treated properly. Trillions of gallons of water will be needed to operate the mine, and the massive amounts of water will require a huge dam to contain the waste.
So there would be these tailings dams built here out of earth from the area in a seismically active region, and we don't know exactly where the faults are.
A former federal fisheries biologist, Carol Ann Woody is a biologist and consultant who has done studies for the Renewable Resources Coalition, which opposes the mine.
Tailings dams fail at a rate of about 2 per year worldwide. So tailings dams failure, especially ones that are made out of earth, are something that are not uncommon. And nothing that humans do lasts forever. So you have to think about that when you're looking at perpetual storage of this type of waste.
I guess it's going to be really big, and if something goes wrong with that waste pond, it goes down into this drainage, which drains right out into the whole bay. You know, if something goes wrong with that, it's just going to wipe things out.
Because of the location, because it is associated with the largest sockeye fishery in the world, we obviously have to have standards that are as high, if not higher, than any mine that's ever been developed.
In order for the Pebble Mine project to get its permits, it will have to be the most environmentally tightly designed and permitted and regulated mine on planet Earth.
Alaska's Department of Natural Resources regulates the mining industry and will ultimately decide if the Pebble project gets a permit. Ed Fogels is the Director of Project Management and Permitting.
I can't say right now whether the mine can actually be permitted, because we don't know what they want to propose. We don't know the technical details. There's a chance that the mine just cannot be permitted, right? But, if it is permitted, then it will have to be that tightly regulated.
In that region, each year about 31 million fish come back to spawn. And lots of recent studies show that slight increases in copper of 2 parts per billion can impact a salmon's ability to smell. And because salmon rely on their sense of smell to distinguish among predator, prey, kin, and mates, and also to find their way home back to spawn, even though the dose may not be lethal, it won't kill them outright, that the actual effects of it could actually be fatal.
That fear of the loss of fish has made for a wide-ranging coalition of opposition in the region.
So I'm in bed, really for the first time, with the environmental movement.
Brian Gannon manages a salmon processing plant near Dillingham.
I'm all for clean water and clean streams, but my angle is that this is economics, this is survival for me, this is survival for our industry, and I'll gladly support the environmentalists on this issue, because this industry needs clean water to make good fish.
Rural Alaska is in dire straits with fuel prices, and it has been for a long time. Poverty out there, there aren't many jobs, and a mine is a good source of high-paying jobs. The average mine job in Alaska pays about $70,000 or so a year.
But for many here, it is about more than jobs.
We've fished in the region here for probably close to 1,000 years, and we need to keep it that way for another 1,000 years for our future generation.
Here's another nice one.
I don't know if I could live here if there weren't any salmon running. I wouldn't have a job, that's for sure, but I also wouldn't have food, and it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be home. So, I don't know.
Somebody could argue this area, somebody should have protected it, but they didn't, and this is what the land was set aside for. The companies went out, they looked for the minerals, they found them. And so to just say, well, now we think, oh, you just ought to go away, I think is wrong. I think we should have an opportunity to prove our case.